Let's talk about lean now. Again, this is sort of a industrial engineering background, and it's sort of evolving though, not necessarily the way industrial engineering used to be, but more into a way of working with people and more of a humanistic approach, I guess you would call it. And you can see I like this picture because lean is about many different tools. There's many different tools and systems to reduce cost, and not every tool and system is right for every application. So you have to diagnose first of your situation in your business or your process, and then you prescribe based on what the need is. And just to give you an overview of what lean actually is, you have value added in the process, which are things the customer would be willing to pay for. It's the actual welding or assembly of the part, buying parts for the product, fabricating components, receiving orders. Those things are value added. But a lot of times in processes, actually probably about 95% of the time, it's things, there's waiting time, things that the customer doesn't pay for. So that is cost to your product. So your goal with lean is to eliminate these different waiting times, staging times, transportation, inventory, overproduction, testing, inspection. All of those things are non-value added. And usually it happens when different functional areas hand off the product to each other. So the goal of lean is to reduce that non-value added time so that the customer gets the value faster. And that helps with the reduction of cost. This is also, I've mentioned lean manufacturing. I like to call it operational excellence though, because it's a little bit more universal. Actually, lean manufacturing can be applied in many industries, and I'll show you that later. So the approach though is pretty simple from a tools perspective. You have what's called a value stream analysis. That's where you map the process out, all the different steps, and you identify the waste, just like we've seen on the last page. And from there is, identifying the waste is one thing, but then you have to eliminate it. And that's where you create what's called an event plan to go in and take that waste out of the process. That event is actually called a rapid improvement event. And you have 4 core tools. There's many others, but there's 4 core tools that you use to make those improvements. One is called standard work. One is called one-piece flow. 6S, which is about organization and cleanliness. And then pull systems, which is how the product is pulled through the process. And once you implement that, you're going to have issues come up. And those issues should be documented on what's called the production control boards or flow control boards, where you document the flow stoppers, and then you have support groups work those issues through what's called problem solving and corrective action. So you remove those flow stoppers. Again, value stream analysis is just the mapping of the process. You can see here all the different maps, and then you put data to those different steps. And then what you actually do is, identify the waste, get a future state to where it's eliminated. What does good look like for this process, and you'll know what that is by getting this action plan put together. And then you report that out to leadership. And the thing is, you got to remember that during a VSA or value stream analysis, it's not actually making changes to the process yet. It's just creating the plan to make the changes. A rapid improvement event, though, is where you make the changes. And then a rapid improvement event, or RIE, is where the rubber meets the road. It's a 7-week cycle. You have 3 weeks of prep, you have 1 week of event, and you have 3 weeks of follow-up. So again, that's where you make the true north impacts.